thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon. We are tracking storms right now moving into Charleston. So this is Charleston, West Virginia. This is officially a 3-star storm. And it looks like, can we get our radar up here? Let's see. So we did say that we were expecting 2-inch size hail today. We are also expecting Charleston to get hit. If you remember that hail forecast that I made just a few hours ago for that noon forecast, I had Charleston as a high risk to get hit. And here's your radar once again. Here we go. Here's your storm moving through Charleston, West Virginia on the north side of this right now. If we backed this storm up a little bit, you would be able to see it going through places like Teays Valley all the way over to the north side of Charleston. We wondered if it was going to just miss Charleston and go farther up to the north, but really it has taken the city head on. So we are seeing some hail from this. I do know that we have confirmed hailstones from this storm, and I'll take a look in just a minute and see exactly what sizes hailstones those are. But this is also warned for a tornado. So highlighted there in red is that tornado warning for Charleston, and let's actually get some more details on this warning. Here we go. We have, this will pop up here in a minute, this warning going until 6 o'clock Eastern time, including Charleston, Coal Fork, Pinch, and South Charleston. Now the hail size here, holy moly, we underestimated today to over 2 inches for hail in this storm. We're looking at about 2.75. That is a very large hailstone, especially for how many people are impacted here, which is why our meteorologists have already made this a 3-star hailstorm. They are calling it now, and you guys are the first to hear it. Watching this live, you are the first to hear that this is a 3-star hailstorm. Let's take a look at this severe thunderstorm warning. We're not only seeing some large hail with this, we're also seeing those really strong wind speeds, okay, up to 70 miles an hour. Now, I don't want to forget, before I get really into the radar here, put your comments, put your questions in the comment center. I can see them right in front of me here, and I can tell you exactly or answer your questions as you get them. Okay, let's take a look at the radar here. You can see on the velocity right there is where we're watching for the storms. Right here is where we're watching for rotation. So this is what we're watching for. I want to actually toggle back over to reflectivity. Okay, it looks pretty good. And then storm relative velocity, yeah, that also looks pretty good. So let's go back and zoom down right into this here. Oh, here we go. And we're also going to use our correlation coefficient. So with our correlation coefficient, we're a little close to the radar here, a little too close for us to really be able to tell what's going on. But I think right in here is where you're going to see the largest hailstones. So in this area, what we're watching for here are those blues and greens to mix in. That means that we're seeing some larger stones in this area. Whenever we have the reds, like what you see out here, that means we're seeing a lot of rain. But I do think those blues and greens, that's what you need to be watching here for your correlation coefficient. They did just update the warning here, so let's take a look at this warning. Does it still go? Still goes until 6 o'clock Eastern time. Hail sizes up to size of a baseball. Large hailstones coming from this. This is not the only storm that we're watching for here. We have other storms farther back to the west, but before we do that, I want to take a look at your local storm reports. So let's see what this storm has already produced. Okay, we've got $half size hail already produced from this storm right here that's gone through Charleston, or that's going through Charleston right now. All right, another one for $half size hail. What about this one? Can we get this one? We've got a 2-incher. Okay, hen egg sized hail reported here in Athalia. I hope that I'm saying that correctly. That's in Cabell County. I hope that I'm saying that correctly. That was at 5:04 Eastern time, so about an hour ago is whenever we saw that hail report. And let's see if do we have another one? Is this a new one, or we already looked at this one? Okay, another 2-incher out of Athalia. So this one is golf ball size hail in Texas, in Teays Valley, excuse me. This is another place that I mentioned earlier where the storm has already gone through. Now, don't don't get out of your shelter yet and say, oh, we're done with those storms. Be weather aware because we have more storms back to the west. And let's actually take a look at that here. Gallipolis, I hope that I'm saying that correctly. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning, and let me give you more information on this warning. Let's take a look at this here. This warn, oh, and now it's tornado warned as well. Wow, that was fast. Okay, so this is warned for 1.5 inch size hail, right around the size of a ping pong ball, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and we do have a tornado warning on top of this as well, or we did. Let me clear this off and get you, okay, there may have been some updates, maybe not tornado warned here. Let's see, this is just severe thunderstorm warning in Gallipolis for ping pong ball size hail. Let's get down to Portsmouth. Get you some information on this severe thunderstorm warning. This one is warned until 6:30 Eastern time and $50 size hail. So again, this is in Portsmouth, just to the west of Charleston, West Virginia. All right, we're still going through some of these cities here. Comment where you're watching from. I can see your comments right in front of me. I see that Chip is on here. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see what other questions that we have. We'll wait just a minute before we get into those other questions. Cincinnati has gotten quite a bit of rain. I didn't see any good hailstones out of Cincinnati. Let's take a look at this. We'll query this and take a look at those hailstones. Yeah, less than a quarter. Less than the size of a quarter, less than an inch in size. This one also just to the south of Cincinnati, less than the size of a quarter as well. I see Eric's on here. Eric's saying, okay. Yes, Eric, we have storms coming through Charleston, West Virginia right now. This has been confirmed as a 3-star hailstorm. The meteorologist confirmed it. That's the joy of getting to do this live coverage in studio whenever I have the meteorologists right over here. They actually can probably hear me talking about them right now because they are in their mapping, and so we can get all great information real time from them. All right, let's take a look at this updated severe thunderstorm warning here. Anytime that we see those dashes on the severe thunderstorm warning, do you see that? Those black lines right here. What that means is we either have a confirmed warning, so that means that we have absolutely seen $50 size hail here, or that it means that it's damaging, and that this is coming from the National Weather Service here, that it is going to make a big impact. Also with this severe thunderstorm warning, 70-mile-per-hour wind speeds, okay? We said the wind was going to be strong today. I think I actually said that we could get up to 80 miles an hour. I went right between 75 and 80, so a little under what I was originally expecting. However, still very, very strong wind there. Okay, let's go back down to Charleston, West Virginia. Let's give you an update on the storm. So just a little recap of where we are, what are we looking at here before we go into Charleston. Here's Cincinnati. Storms have moved through Cincinnati, and as they did, they strengthened. As they moved into Charleston, they strengthened quite significantly, giving us those 2-inch size hailstorms. However, hailstones, giving us those 2-inch size hailstones. However, we are seeing reports of even larger hailstones. We are warned for up to baseball size hail. So let's actually take a look at our new LSRs here. This coming from Charleston, what do we have here? Golf ball size hail, 1.75 inches. A picture actually of golf ball size hail along Morris Street in downtown Charleston. So we know that Charleston's took a head-on impact from this storm. That tornado warning, still going here with that tornado warning. Let me get a little bit more information about this warning for you. So for this tornado warning, we're also still warning for baseball size hail here, so we could still see some very large hailstones right here. This goes until 6 o'clock Eastern time, so we still have, we still have another minute on this warning, so we'll see if they extend this afterwards. So give us a few minutes, we'll see if we can if we're going to get this warning extended. It looks like they are not extending the warning for that tornado. However, they are keeping that severe thunderstorm warning on the board here, again for Charleston, especially on the east side, for Sissonville and South Charleston as well. Still holding on to that baseball-sized hail here. And we can take a look at some of our other products to show you. Correlation coefficient here, looking for those blues. It's lighting up, right? That means that we absolutely have some hail in this storm, and it's most likely pretty large also, which is why the National Weather Service has warned this for baseball-sized hail. It seems very warranted in this area. We can also take a look at your storm relative velocity. We've got some strong wind with this here. However, it is a little difficult to tell from this right here. We do have some strong wind though. I can see that whenever we start to see those brighter colors on our storm relative velocity, that's whenever we know that we've got some strong winds with this storm. So absolutely some strong winds, some large hail as well. Now we're kind of getting out of an area that's heavily populated, okay? Charleston is heavily populated. However, just outside of Charleston, not as many people over here. So tell me where you're watching from today, and let me know if you're watching from any of these towns or if you've got any questions. If not, especially because there's not too many people on here, or too many people being impacted. We've got a lot of people watching. Thank you for watching. But if not, I'll jump off and we'll watch these storms from the office. Here's what we're looking at right now. Charleston, you are officially out of that severe thunderstorm warning. It's just the east side of the city, maybe the east side of the metro, just a few people impacted here. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning, now has been extended farther out to the east. So if we take a wider view, let's see, who is our next city in the path here? Not a ton of cities over here. Charlottesville, that may be the next city in the path. Now we've got a while until we get to Charlottesville. I see one question on here. Is there a chance of no school tomorrow? Where are you commenting from? Where are you at? Are we talking about Charleston, West Virginia, or are we talking about somewhere else across the country? Where are you commenting from? So we know, let me see if I can get a distance on here. How far away are we from Charlottesville? So if we had a direct hit, okay, we're still about 90 to 100 miles away from Charlottesville. So this storm has a long ways to go. And if we take a look at how fast it's moving, this is going to take me a minute to find. And it's actually, here's an update to the warning here, has been downgraded from baseball size hail now to golf ball size hail. This storm is moving to the east at 55 miles an hour. So we've still got about 2 hours, maybe a little bit less than 2 hours until this storm makes it to Charlottesville. So we still have a while with the storm. And we'll see, even at that point, will it be still this strong? Can it sustain its strength for the next 2 hours? We'll have to see. I don't know. I don't know if it can. Now let's zoom out. Let's clear all of this off of here and let's zoom out. Here we go. And we'll give you an idea of what we're looking at here. So these are the only storms that we have going on right now. Zoom out, make sure I'm correct on that. We do have some storms out in South Dakota, it looks like. Now we knew we could see some high wind out there, so I'm not going to be too worried about that. No hail expected with these storms out in South Dakota. Our hailers are right here in West Virginia. So we've got Portsmouth, Gallipolis, and I hope I'm saying that correctly, or at least attempting to. And then we have the east side of Charleston. We have two of these warnings, this one here on the left side of your screen and this one here on the right side of your screen near Portsmouth and just outside of Charleston. These are for your big, large hailstones and also most likely confirmed. We know that it's producing large hail out here. What other questions do we have? We haven't gotten an update on where people are watching from. That on YouTube, ZXAIN, let me know where you're watching from. And what we have seen, if you are just jumping on here, what we have seen are confirmed reports of large hailstones. We're talking about golf ball size hail in Charleston. We are even talking about larger hailstones, 2-inch in size, a little bit farther back to the east. So we're talking about 1.5 inches in Putnam and Texas Valley. And then here is your golf ball size hail. Also in Hurricane, that's the city, just outside of Charleston, Hurricane, West Virginia. Let's see what other LSRs are on here. LSRs stand for Local Storm Report. And earlier, I know that we've seen a 2-incher from this, but it may not be popping up on our screen right now. So what I can tell you here is that this is a 3-star hailstorm. So our meteorologists have said this is a 3-star storm. It hit Charleston head on. In Charleston, you still have storms coming your way. Now, they may go a little bit north of you, but if they could get down to the south, then you're going to have another round of storms coming your way. So don't call it quits yet. Keep an eye on those storms today, even through the evening hours. Joey asks, what about Chicago? We need big hail. No chances for Chicago today. However, here, let me switch over a few graphics here. You guys are going to see some inside baseball to how we do our graphics here. Let me show you the next chance for severe storms in Chicago. Here we go. This is what I want right here. Okay, so these storms in Chicago, Friday. Joey, you know it. Did you watch the forecast today? You already know when those storms are. Dusty says Michigan too. I don't know if Michigan is in the risk for Friday. Here we are on Thursday. On Thursday, we've got Iowa, the far eastern side of Nebraska, and then the far northern side of Missouri for your storm risk on Thursday. Now Friday, just as we were telling, just as Joey told us as well, great job paying attention to that there. This is a 5-day outlook. So we don't have exact details yet. Timing is going to be a little interesting with this one because we're going to see how fast this thing moves in. But this risk goes anywhere from the northern side of Dallas all the way up into Oklahoma City, right through most of Missouri, especially the middle of Missouri, just missing Kansas City. But again, we're 5 days out, so that could change. And then we're going into Indiana, Illinois, and of course, Chicago included in that risk as well. Someone asked about Michigan, also included in that risk. Again, we're going to get more information over the next few days, so we will absolutely be keeping you updated on this. We will be watching the Storm Prediction Center, but we also work with our own forecasts here so we can break down all of those hazards that you need to know about. And then we don't have a risk yet for Saturday, or at least I don't think. I haven't checked it in the last few hours, but let me check real quick, see if we have that risk for Saturday yet. I am almost, if I could bet, this is what I would bet. I bet we're going to get a risk for Saturday. Where? I don't know. It'll be interesting. But I bet we'll get a risk for Saturday storms, which Easter weekend, I know that people don't want to pay attention to the weather over Easter weekend. You're traveling, you're hanging out with your family. You don't want to pay attention to the weather. You should be. You should be paying attention to the weather this weekend. Not only will it be rainy for a lot of us this weekend, take a look at all of that rain that we're expecting from Friday into Saturday. Rainy all morning long across Texas, Dallas, Oklahoma City, Wichita. And then it kind of clears off on Sunday. So if you have any Easter Day plans, I think that it'll be a little bit better on Sunday. But for Saturday, we may even have a snowy Easter out in Colorado. So for Saturday, it looks like we are going to get some snow in Colorado. It looks like it's going to be a lot colder as well. Out in Denver, we go from temperatures up in the 80s and 90s on Friday, Thursday and Friday, all the way down to the 30s on Saturday. So it's going to be a lot colder out in Colorado on Saturday. We have those showers and storms on Saturday for a good portion of Kansas, Oklahoma City, and Texas. And if I were a betting person, I would bet on storms, a storm risk, a severe risk on Saturday as well. What other questions do we have? Because if we don't have our storms in very crowded areas, we don't have any questions, I may jump off of here and let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, but we'll continue to be watching these storms Doddridge County, West Virginia. Okay, let's see. You guys are making me test my geography skills here. Let's see. Haley is producing for us today. So she is behind the camera producing, and she can read your comments as well. Let's see. Let's pull the radar back up. Right here. Doddridge County, so we're talking about West Union, Blandville, New Milton, Center Point, Salem, just outside of Clarksburg. So we're going to go to the northwest of Charleston here. So let's get down here. Right here. Did I get it right? Doddridge County. So there is no severe thunderstorm warning up here right now. This is just going to be heavy rain. So you're probably hearing the lightning and the thunder, seeing the lightning, hearing the thunder out there. That's going to continue for a little bit in this area. What we're watching for are some of these severe storms down to the south. Now, it's not moving your way. However, that doesn't mean that you can't have storms more later on tonight. So still stay aware, stay weather aware, but there is no safety threat right now. What we're getting is rain in this area, most likely coming down heavy at times, however, not all the time. You've got that strike of lightning, rumble of thunder out your door, however, no severe thunderstorm warning. All of those severe storms are down into Charleston and just to the east of Charleston. Charleston probably about to get hit another time here from this storm. Now, I don't think it's going to be as bad as the last time. It looks like you're just going to get the southern end of this severe storm that's moving through Spencer right now, or it's about to move through Spencer. So this storm right here will be your next round of rain for Charleston. You could get a little hail from this, but it's going to be very, very small. I don't see this being a big hailer coming through. However, what I'm really watching for is this storm back here, and I'll give you your distance. So how far away is this storm from Charleston? If it's moving to the east, it's about 60 miles away, and let's get some more information on this. Maybe. Now let's try again. There we go. It is warned for $half size hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind speeds until 7 o'clock this evening. This is on Eastern time. I'm going to get you some information about how fast this is moving. It's moving about 55 miles an hour, so it's not reaching Charleston anytime soon, but this is your next one to really keep an eye on. Back to the east, it'll reach you in about an hour, maybe like an hour 10. So as we go into the evening hours, make sure that you are still keeping an eye on the radar, because I do think that we are still going to have storms over the next few hours. We'll see if it can sustain its strength for an entire hour here. Let's get you some cities on the map. Okay, what did I say? 55 miles an hour. This severe thunderstorm is moving into Fayette by about 6:14, Huntington by 6:20, Pea Ridge at 6:27, and Gallipolis at 6:31. I think I'm getting better at saying that city name. Again, it's warned for $half size hail, just larger than the size of a quarter, and it's moving to the east at about 55 miles an hour. That's a respectable pace. What other questions do we have on here this evening? You guys are pretty quiet for the most part. I can see that you're watching from, let's check this out here. We've got several people on YouTube, a few people on Facebook, but a lot of you are watching on Twitter. So on Twitter, you cannot comment on Twitter to where we can see it. However, if you switch over to Facebook or if you switch over to YouTube, you can comment, and then that's how we can see things like it's someone's birthday today. Let's see, whose birthday is it? BW414. Well, happy birthday. I don't know if you want this hail or you don't want this hail, but happy birthday either way. Let's take a look at those storms farther down to the south. I'm going to get some information on this storm right here. Going out of Charleston, going into Beaver. Again, there's not many cities around here. It's not a very highly populated area. However, we can show you exactly the population in this area. About 18,000 people impacted from this storm. It's warned for golf balls and 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds. Monday at 7 o'clock, that's whenever this expires, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Let's get a look at your forecast for the rest of the evening. And then I'm going to jump off of here and we're going to continue to track this, because if this, once again, stays strong, if these storms stay strong as we head into the evening hours, we'll jump back on here. So hit that follow button and we'll jump back on later on this evening. I want to show you your forecast. So give me just a minute. Let me pull up the right graphic. Hey, in the meantime, while I pull up this graphic, take a look at the hail map that I made today. Or maybe not. We'll look at it in a minute. Give me just a minute here. I put on the hail map Charleston, West Virginia. I said, that's going to get hit. And look at what we're talking about now. Charleston, West Virginia got hit today. So the meteorologist is right at least some of the times, right? All right, let's take a look at that graphic for the rest of the day. So here's what we're watching for. Here is your Storm Prediction Center risk. We have an enhanced risk highlighted here in orange. That is a level 3 on a scale of 5. That level 2 risk is included for the northern side of West Virginia, southern side of the state as well. We've got the eastern side of Kentucky on here. Now, storms are going to be a lot more sparse the farther south and west, south and west that you go down here. Not too worried about storms farther south than Cincinnati. I'm really watching this area right in here, anywhere from Cincinnati all the way to this area highlighted in orange for hail. So that's where we're watching for that hail risk. The farther east that you go, as you get closer to the coast, it's going to be more of a wind risk. That is whenever I think that we could see those 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So let's see what happened today. We saw these storms go up a little earlier than I expected. I said about 3 o'clock. It was about 2:30, 2 o'clock when these storms went up. Right over Cincinnati. Nailed it. Then these storms continued to track to the east. So now it's about 5:15 Central Time, 6:15 Eastern Time, and we're tracking these storms. We've got a line of storms stretching all the way into Kentucky. And I don't know, do we actually have rain all the way into Kentucky, or has this not formed yet? Let me see. Pull up my radar here. Potentially. Okay, maybe it's not going to let me pull it up. You guys gotta love technology, right? Well, we'll continue with this future forecast, and I may get to the radar later. So your future radar shows these storms all the way down into Kentucky, but we're really watching this area right here for that strong, severe weather, right? Those really large hailstones right in the center of West Virginia. Down here, we're watching for more of those marginally severe stones, more like quarter-size hail, right? We're still watching for those storms to fire up and continue to expand their coverage, so more storms as we head into the late night hours tonight. However, I do think that that hail risk is going down in the late night hours. So we're talking about after sundown, it's dark out there, that hail risk goes down, but that wind risk goes up. So that's what we're going to be seeing through the overnight hours tonight. This will most likely end right around 1 o'clock in the morning. There's your hail risk. Let me replay this one more time so you know what you're looking at. Maybe. Oh. My graphics really today are taking their sweet time. Okay, here we go. Here's your hail risk. We are including Kentucky in this hail risk here, even though I think that this model is overdoing it a little bit. You're going to see this go down significantly after dark. Watch this. You're just going to see the white after this. Yep. Just that white means very, very small, like pea-sized hail, very small hail in there. We could have some lingering hailstorms in the southern side of West Virginia, but I really think after dark, that hail risk is not going to be concerning anymore. Your max hail size today, this has already come into fruition. We have hen egg size hail. I bet there's some larger hailstones mixed in there as well. And I told you earlier today that Charleston was going to be a target for hail, and it absolutely was. We saw those storms track right through Charleston, not only just a few minutes ago, but we've got another round coming for you as well. So that's what we're expecting. That hail risk will go down as we head into the evening, late night hours, but then the wind risk is going to go up. I have Richmond and Baltimore for some pretty strong storms, giving off right around 65 to 70 mile per hour wind speeds tonight. But of course, some of the strongest wind speeds will be right in here, I think really on the east side of West Virginia and on the west side of Virginia. We have another risk today for Sioux Falls, South Dakota, all the way down into just to the southeast a little bit into Iowa. What we are watching for here is going to be high wind, right around 65 miles an hour. I don't think that it's going to be too much stronger than that. Last but not least, your tornado forecast for today. We are still watching for that tornado risk. We've already had several tornado warnings, so that tornado forecast for Charleston is still in effect, okay? These storms still pose a tornado risk all the way through the evening hours, but once again, just like that hail risk, I think that this tornado threat is going to go down after sunset. Still on the board, but I think into the late night hours, we'll see that risk go down. All right, thanks for joining us today. We are going to be tracking these storms for you. As I mentioned earlier, this storm that came through Charleston was a 3-star hailstorm. Our meteorologists already have it mapped. It is on the website. So if you have any questions about our maps, head over to hailtrace.com. Give us a call or email us to get subscribed to have access to those maps so you can get out and work those storms. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back for your forecast tomorrow at noon.